That's the box office. Speaking of
Yeah.
Marvel, okay. Speaking of Marvel, look, they can't all be winning transitions.
Yeah, yes.
So it has been spoiled that Marvel Comics is killing off Kamala Khan, Ms. Marvel, in the next issue of Amazing Spider-Man. This was apparently leaked by accident. I believe it may have been the editor. Two blurry images appeared on Twitter, and he could not take them down fast enough, if it is who I think it was.
Uh, oh.
So, Daniel, do you have much of an opinion on Miss Marvel?
um, Not really. My only opinion is that she's just kind of a. I hate to use the word token, but um, kind of a token character.
The tragedy of Miss Marvel, and it hadn't really occurred to me until I heard Aaron Sparrow saying this on Wes's show, is that what she was unique, and then every new teen character became her.
Uh, and
Uh,
this is the second most stupid Marvel move. What would be the first?
yeah, honestly, for me, this doesn't even crack the top 20 of the last few years. Uh, the stupid move was okay. So basically, I remember reading the first volume of Ms. Marvel written by G. Willow Wilson,
Yeah.
and it's very slice of life, which that isn't a bad thing if that's kind of upfront about what you are, because if you get down to it, Ultimate Spider-Man was kind of the same sort of like slow roll deconstructed superhero comic.
Uh,
So and Kamala was charming, her family was charming, and what it was really about early on was about her kind of struggling with being a Muslim child of immigrants in a larger American society, which sounds like it's funny is that nowadays I roll my eyes because that's what every single comic is about.
yeah.
Except it just replace Muslim child of immigrants with insert thing here, right?
Yeah. Insert oppressed class here. Yeah.
Right. Um, and they even like were dealing with the fact that in her first volume she could shapeshift, which is a power they completely have forgotten that she has. And she
Mm,
ended up turning into a version of Carol Danvers, who was her greatest hero. So it was like kind of talking a little bit about race and self perception, things like that. And it's like it was doing interesting things, but then everybody else started doing it, and they took the character and they shoved her into the Avengers.
yeah.
You know why?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No. I'm sorry. God.
You know why Spider-Man wasn't an Avenger for the longest time? Because it's not something that Peter needs to be interesting.
All right. Yeah. Uh, yeah. She. It just. I mean. I have a hard time getting I have a hard time getting upset about this because I mean as the headline clearly said, oh yeah, Civil War II. Yeah, that was bad. um like this isn't the first, she's not the first comic book character to die in the comics and won't be the last, and it's probably highly likely that they're going to bring her back at some point. I mean, it's just
I mean, especially in the Ms. Marvel TV show where they hinted that she was a mutant and her powers were entirely different. This might be where they use the Krakoa stuff in X-Men to retcon her into a mutant instead of being an Inhuman, and change her powers to match the TV show, which might be an improvement because vague energy powers is better than giant hands.
yeah. I would agree with that. And
Also, is that a ray of sunlight going through her thigh gap? Interesting choice for a 16-year-old character, Marvel.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, Ninja Joe says, yeah, yeah, she's going to be back in 6 months.
Yeah, it is funny how Marvel keeps killing off characters right before they are going to be in a movie. They did that with
Yeah,
Doctor Strange too, before Multiverse of Madness.
yeah, yeah. It's a very interesting marketing tactic.
I would almost call it anti-marketing. I've heard
Yeah,
Comics Perch speculate that it's almost like they don't want to be told what to do in the comics.
yeah. That sounds likely.
But now it sounds like and the weird thing is that not only is it happening at all right before a movie comes out, but it's happening in Amazing Spider-Man, a character like she and Spider-Man have interacted before. There was a weird, cringy comic that I remember your boy Zach roasting, where she and Peter switched bodies and they lived each other's lives for a few days.
Ah, God, that old cliche.
Eh, And it's extra awkward because he's a minor girl. I remember he enjoyed the taste of her lip gloss
Ah,
because it was one of those types of comics.
I see.
But so you've got the so you might say, well, why didn't they kill her in the pages of her own comic book? That's the other problem is that her initial run was successful. Then they killed the Golden Goose, and the various relaunches and attempts haven't gone since. I,
Hmm.
I heard somebody go, well, why didn't you know why is Peter there to mourn her when she's barely been a supporting character in his book recently? Shouldn't it should be the champions or her parents? Well, if the champions were around, nobody would have read it
Yeah.
because nobody likes the champions. Even the original champions that were Iceman and Hercules and Angel and Black Widow and Ghost Rider, they didn't succeed. There's a reason that book didn't last.
Yeah. And ninjas too. Yeah, yeah. The insulting part is that yeah, it's in a Spider-Man comic book where we don't know why everyone hates Peter. So it looks like Kamala is the reason.
Yeah, which man, it's life is so much easier once you decide that Marvel Comics stopped publishing around 2015 or so. So nothing they can do can hurt your memories.
Yes, yeah.
Just man, this
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just yeah,
piles of stupid.
yes. That's why buy indie.
Yes, by Indy. Uh, yeah, it's a tragedy. This was a character that had a lot of potential, and for people who could stomach the TV show and didn't mind it being basically pointed at the Disney tween audience, it sounds like it was good until it stopped being about her? Question mark.
Mm,
And it turned into like the mystery of her powers, or like the Pakistani and Indian separation. It's just
mm,
partition. That's the term.
yeah.
But I guess my overall response is, whatever.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much mine too. Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if the suspicion that they bring her back with different powers comes true, or if they don't think that far ahead.
Yeah, I don't know if they thought that far ahead. I mean, this is Marvel we're talking about here.
Yeah. Uh, Speaking of not thinking ahead,